because what the message the league is sending to the players is that the platform has limits, right? That your emotions, your frustrations, your truths have to be packaged in a way that it won't embarrass the league. And that's tricky because authenticity is exactly what draws fans in. And the WNBA is growing faster than ever. Record viewership, record engagement, and Clark is a huge part of that. Okay, just remember, if you know bull, you know ball. So, Caitlin Clark, she got fined $200, not for a hard foul, not for an injection, but for the comments that she made online. She writes under a fever Instagram post, refs couldn't stop us. And suddenly, the league pulled out their league ticket book. They done made some bread this year off of these players, okay? $200 though. I think the fines amounts are kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie. I think the highest fine amount I seen was a $1,500. And that kind of speaks to how much money the women are making, but it's nowhere near compared to the tens of thousands of dollars the men get fined. So it's so funny to me. $200. Okay. So and then Caitlin goes to laugh it off on Twitter. She said, got fined $200 for this. LOL. Now here's the thing. This is way more than money, because $200 to a pro athlete is nothing, but the fine itself is symbolic. What the WNBA is saying is, we see you, we're watching your words, and there's a line that you cannot cross. They have stayed firm in the regulation and protecting the refs, right? And we've seen Sophie Cunningham's sister, Lindsay, speaking out about how the WNBA needs to protect the players, not just the refs. And we see Sophie speak out. We saw Kelsey Plum speak out. We see Caitlin speak out multiple times, and this is the first time she's getting fined. So the league has a history of tightening the reins when women get too bold, too outspoken, and too unfiltered. You can see there's a huge contrast between the narratives of the refs in the NBA versus the narratives in the refs in the WNBA. And right now, the narrative in the WNBA is they're so terrible, but we see the women being more outspoken about it. But I do feel like the leash is shorter, and that's the approach that the WNBA is taking. I don't want to make it a man or a woman thing, but I do want to speak around some theories and generate a conversation going about this, because what the message the league is sending to the players is that the platform has limits, right? That your emotions, your frustrations, your truths have to be packaged in a way that it won't embarrass the league. And that's tricky because authenticity is exactly what draws fans in. And the WNBA is growing faster than ever. Record viewership, record engagement, and Clark is a huge part of that. But when you find her on an Instagram comment, the message isn't just to Caitlin. You find them on Instagram podcasts, you find them on TikTok videos. It's to every player saying, stay in line. Here's my take. Regulating speech doesn't protect the league. It stifles it. Fans want emotion. They want transparency. They want players who talk like us, who feel like us. And if the WNBA wants to capitalize on this moment, they need to find balance between professionalism and player expression, because you can't grow a game and silence the voices that make it matter. On the other hand, I don't agree with the women in some of the way that they do attack the league and the words that they use, because it just, I think both sides need to be held accountable for their actions, because it's borderline hindering freedom of speech, but it's also like, why do you want to trash the WNBA, the very organization that you work for, when everybody else already does it? So it's like, yes, we want to be related to as a fan, but I don't want the women to keep opening the door for the slander on the WNBA in order to get what you want. Like, I just wish they didn't take this approach. That's all. And if you're probably wondering, well, Bree, how else can they get what they want? That's usually what people got to do to get what they want. I disagree. I'm a diplomatic person. I'm all about democracy. I'm all about finding a middle ground. And right now, the league and the women have not found that middle ground yet. And that is why the lockout is still on the horizon. We are at the end of September almost, and we're almost like a month and some days away from the league lockout, the date for the CBA contract. And the way things are going, I'm not sure if they're going to reach an agreement. It just makes me wonder, is the WNBA trying to grow its players or control them? And I think my question was to should the players be fined for calling out the refs? Let's see what y'all have to say. Wait, how am I diabolical? Okay. Um So we see, and I already know that we're gonna have people take the side of the players, and then we're gonna have people take the side of the league. I want to keep the conversation going about regulation of the women and how these fines, they're laughing at them, WNBA. The women are laughing at these fines. They obviously don't take y'all serious. Okay, finding them $200, but then if you find them $10,000, they're gonna be like, "Oh my god, I can't afford that." So, I mean, yeah, okay, you're right. I don't think they're going after free speech. That was a little dramatic. Um, but there is consequences. However, these women don't seem to care about the consequences. Nothing seems to be changing. Caitlyn had her black Air Forces on. She was on reckless mode, okay? Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I think uh I think the women should have consequences, but I think the efforts that the WNBA are making is not doing it right now. So something's got to give. And it has to come from both sides.